All right, so we're going to get started here. If I could just get a mic check, please. And again, happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Taco Tuesday. Good morning, Marissa. Morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Let me make sure I'm good over here on our. Yep, looks like we're good here as well. And just so I can get a mic check, make sure we can be heard here on YouTube. If somebody could just give me a thumbs up so we can get started there. All right. All right. So again, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. It is the 5th of March, 2024. First thing I want to talk about is our blueprints going into today on the futures. We'll cover the ES futures, the NASDAQ, the RTY, and then the Dow Jones. And the reason why we're doing this first thing this morning is because it is super important to understand what the direction of the market is going to be before we get started. Okay. And so, if you didn't know, I use the futures to guide me. All right. And I've been doing this for many, many years. And you can trade off of the blueprints that I'm showing you. For example, the blueprint that I'm showing you, you could trade the SPY and the SPX off of. Okay. If I'm showing you the NASDAQ, you could trade the NDX and or the QQQ. If we're looking at the YM, you can trade the diamonds, which is DIA. And if I'm showing you RTY, you could trade the IWM. Now, we will be looking at other names when we start our journey today, which will start the open at 8:30. So don't worry. All right. But the first thing, again, I want to look at futures. So the ES futures are down 22 points. And on Sunday, we sent out these blueprints. As you can see, they worked really well. We came into our target yesterday. We were expecting a turn from here. And if I zoom in, you're going to notice that we have what's called a trendy turn signal. Okay. That's just kind of like an extra, if you will, if you need some kind of validation or something to make you feel a little bit more comfortable in getting the short. That's there for a conservative approach. If you want to be aggressive, basically you just go short at the level. Okay. All right. So then we wake up this morning. Yesterday I thought was pretty dull. It got exciting for a few minutes. We were able to trim our SPX butterflies right here for 150%. So it was like perfect, right? And those things were actually up towards 280%. And then I let that one go to zero because it was already financed. I wanted to see if I could pin it by the end of the day. But unfortunately, we got a small pullback there. Now, this is, in my opinion, the stage that I talked about getting ready for Jerome, right? Jerome testifies tomorrow and Thursday. Okay, so econ data, that's important for you to know. We should see a little bit of volatility come in tomorrow. Now, saying that, we have a little bit of econ data today as well. We have a couple Fed heads speaking. All right, and we'll go over that here in a second. And that way you're aware of when those news events are coming out in the market. Now, we are in what we call a demand zone, and we pushed up into what was considered a Fibonacci extension. Okay. And again, both levels working really well. Now, we don't know if this green demand zone is going to work. We never know if anything is going to work. We set this up, we try to align ourselves with institutional buying and selling. And there are two different ways that we want to approach this. We have two different ways. Let's go over that, okay? One is a conservative approach. When we enter into the zones, we are looking for signs that make us feel better about buying the dip. Now, this market since October has been a great buy the dip scenario. And honestly, things haven't changed until they do. So we kind of have to stick ourselves out there, try to take a trade. And at some point, it's not going to work. And you need to understand that. That's why we use risk, right? We have to understand what our risk is before we take the trade. Now, there's a couple things that I want to point out that are really important about this morning. This is how do we approach a down day? All right. And I have a video out there on YouTube you guys can watch. It's like a very quick video, but this is what I want you to think about this morning. One, on the time frame that you are using, and currently I have a 30-minute up here, but on the time frame that you choose to use, are we underneath the cloud? This is just a EMA cloud, okay? Are we underneath the cloud? If we're under that cloud is resistance until proven otherwise. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Resistance until proven otherwise. Okay. All right. And then conservative. What indicators are you using to help you to get into a trade to the upside or downside? Okay. So, for example, you could be using what we call a trendy turn signal. Notice that these yellow arrows, these are called trendy turn signals. Okay. Now, I ignore these signals unless we are at a level. So, the question, are we at a level? Yes, we're in a green zone. Are we seeing any kind of trendy turn signal on the 30-minute? No. Okay. And we'll go to a 5-minute here in a second. So, one, be conservative. You don't have to buy the dip. You could be patient today and wait to see if we get a turn signal. And again, I'm going to show you different ones on different time frames to kind of help you get a jump start, if you will. All right. The second thing is, especially if you're trading minis versus micros. Minis, this is what we're looking at right now, the ES futures. For every point, it's $50 against you or with you. All right. You are leveraging 500 shares of the SPY. Okay. That's a lot, right? It's a lot. So you understand your leverage, you understand your risk, you got to have some kind of bracket trade in. For example, if we come to the active trader, and I'm not in a trade yet, we want to make sure that we have our templates set up, a trigger, a bracket, and I teach you how to do this as well. And you guys can see when I freeze this, I've already have all sorts of different templates. All I have to do is come over here and click this, and then I come down and see where this says ES 1.5 to 5. Well, my risk today, everyone, is about 2.5 points. So I'm going to change this stop to 2.5 points. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Just like this. And let's say that I want 5 as my reward. Okay, everybody see that? So when I come down here, you'll notice on what we call the active trader, or some traders who have been around for a while call this the dome. If I wanted to take this trade, I'm going to freeze this once again. I have a buy, I have a stop, and I have a target. Okay, so when I'm ready to take a trade, I'm going to use what we call a bracket trade. All right, and this is the way we make it nice and safe. All right. What I mean by safe is we have a stop in. If futures get away from you, you can lose a ton of money. Okay. Again, 50 bucks a point. That means tick, each tick is $12.50. Now, the next way you could trade this today is simply come over to the micro futures and scale into the trade. And what this does is give you the option, because we understand this box is super wide, everybody. It's super wide. So at some point, I need a cutoff, right? If this is not working, I need a cutoff. I just want to give you an example. I could take the micros and be aggressive and take them right here. I'm going to start the position because I'm at the green zone. And then I have to have areas where I would add in. And the reason why I feel more comfortable adding into a micro is because it's 1/10 the size of a mini. Okay. So I just picked my levels. Say I have this level here, I would add again. At this level, I would add again. And if I get stopped out, let's just say I put my stop under here, I can add up the points and understand how much I can lose in this trade. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Now, notice we are on a 30-minute. We're starting to go bid, meaning buyers are starting to show up. But what is your reward? Your reward would be a move potentially back up to the cloud. And then once we hit that cloud, I would expect a rejection. Anytime we're underneath the cloud, it is resistance until proven otherwise. Now, I want to show you. I'm going to change this from a 30 to a 5-minute. Okay. And then we are going to talk about our most popular indicator, which is the PMZ, or the pre-market zone. It is a zone or a box that pops up automatically right before the market opens, about 5 minutes. Now, the cool thing is you don't have to wait for the market to open. We already have the levels, if you will, right here. Okay. And it's letting us know our risk. So again, this is how we set up our bracket trade. Today, our risk is 2.5 points. Not bad, right? Not bad. 2.5 points, folks. So again, on the minis, you're looking at what, about $150 in there. So not too bad. If you go to the micros, you're only looking at about $15 to $20 of risk. Okay. Now, when this PMZ opens up, you're going to have a box on the screen. That zone, the difference between the top and the bottom is where this is coming from. Okay. You're basically, it's mechanical, it's methodical, it's sequential, it's everything that I wanted to design for traders like you. Because a lot of traders have a really hard time executing because they don't know what their risk is supposed to be. Okay. So, again, once this PMZ opens, what we're looking for is as soon as it breaks, you can look to go long. That's called aggressive. You put your stops in, you take the trade, and any line to the upside is going to be resistance until proven otherwise. Okay. Notice here on the 5 minute, as we're sitting here talking, we do have what's called a trendy turn signal. On the 30 minute, we did not have a turn signal. On the 5 minute, we do. So if you're taking this trade aggressively, good, things are working out for you for a couple points to the upside. If you are waiting, then you have to wait for the candle to close. Candle closes, you get a trendy turn signal. Now, what happens when we wait for turn signals? We increase our risk. All right, does that make sense? Because if I'm buying down here and I'm being aggressive, I'm already making points. If I'm waiting for a candle to close, well, my risk starts to increase. Not a big deal. Nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. One is for certain people and one is for other people. It's not a big deal. You got to pick out which one you want. Now, notice on the 5 minutes, we're still underneath the cloud. That means that is resistance until proven otherwise. Now, as I sum this up, it is important for you to understand, and there is nothing worse than trying to keep buying the dip and you go back at the end of the day and this cloud, right, looks like this the whole entire day. Prices dip, they push back up, they hit the cloud, they break back down. And you look at this and you look, over a 6 hour period, and you got, why in the hell was I trying to buy the dip the entire day? Okay. So understand these two different things. Yes, we're in a demand zone. It does not have to move significantly from here. That cloud is a big factor right now. We have to get up and over that. It is your target. If you decide to go long at a level, it is a target because it is resistance. I know that I'm really reiterating this, but I want you to keep yourself safe because we are in a mode where the market has been a buy the dip for so long that you are programmed to buy every single dip. And one day, and I'm not saying it's going to be today, but one day you'll keep buying the dip and the dip will keep dipping. Okay. And I don't want you to get stuck. So try your best today to be conservative. So, what we're going to do instead of using a 5 minute candle, we want to concentrate on a 15, anywhere from a 15 to a 30. And when we increase our time, we get less signals. Okay. We get less signals, which means we're not going to be as aggressive. Everybody understand that. Everybody understand that. All right. So I can move forward. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. All right. Cool. I care about all of us here, and there's nothing like having the worst down day ever and seeing that you could have stayed away from it. All right. So, what we want to look for today, everyone, is we want to see that we can at least get over the cloud. Okay. Now, when the PMZ pops up, don't be afraid to take it to the upside. Okay. Because look, we know our risk, and I'm a trader. I'm just going to take trades, right? I'm going to take trades because my setup is setting up. I'm not afraid to do that. I am afraid if this number is too big, I'm just not comfortable. And I'll let you know if it's too big. All right. And it's not. All right. It's within the limit that I'm okay with. Okay. All right. Couple things here. This was just the ES futures. Now that I've told you, and there's that PMZ, guys. All right. There's that PMZ, and the PMZ works really well. Here's yesterday. Boom. You're going long off of this. You hit the target. You're talking multiple points, guys. You're talking 20 points, about $1,000 per contract. Okay. Now, this is important. I need to take you to the higher time frame. Okay. We're going to go to a 4 hour. And Melissa, if you want, what I'm going to do, Melissa, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to silence the room. I'm going to continue talking on YouTube. Okay. And then I'll come back to the room and turn on the mic right before the open, which is about 8:29. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do here. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to mute in here. All right, and I'm going to continue talking over here on YouTube. All right. So everybody over here on YouTube, what we're looking for again, all right, let's go to the higher time frames and we are going to look at now the NASDAQ, right? Because I'm sure some of you might be trading something where you're in the NASDAQ. Well, guess what? Again, these were sent out over the weekend, and these really help us guide ourselves in the market. And if you didn't know, this is supply and demand, guys. I'm a professional supply and demand trader. I teach you how to find these zones, how to trade them, and so forth. Okay. Why is this important? Because look, if you're affiliated with any stock that's in the NASDAQ, well, this is where we'd be expecting a bounce today. Okay. Just like the ES, nothing changes. It's just a chart. We approach it the same way. I just want you to know that we are in the zone at the moment, and we'll be looking for little signs and clues to let us know if we need to go long. Okay. Same thing though, use it on a smaller time frame. You're going to understand that we're underneath the cloud, and that is resistance until proven otherwise. Let's go to the Dow Jones. If you're trading anything affiliated with the Dow Jones, okay. Look at this. This thing's pretty ugly. Matter of fact, this is a 4 hour and it lost its cloud about 12 hours ago, or actually about a day ago. Okay. So we have dropped into the green zone. So that is three. All right. We have three names so far: ES Futures, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, all in the green zone. Now, why do I like this? Because I like confluence. All right. And all of these are coming into a zone. All of these have been on an absolute tear. And all of these do need somewhat of a reset. Okay. These are your levels for the Dow Jones today. All right. Now, some of you guys might be looking at the liquidity chop. This changes every day, and I manually put this on there. This is where I believe that price basically is liquidity grabbing, right? It's taking liquidity from our retail traders, you and I. They're taking your stops and then they're looking for the bigger move. Okay. But this is your picture for today on the Dow Jones, again, in the green zone. Let's go to our last one, which is going to be RTY, which is affiliated with the IWM, which has been on an absolute tear. This is the stronger one. And I think a lot of traders are looking for, this to basically show us the way. Like, can this continue to be strong? Now we're in leaps, and our leaps are about like 80%. All right. One of our tiers for our leaps is at 80%. We have options that expire 320 days out. Okay. So I'm in this for the long term. But this is a week to week basis, and I'm showing you what could happen. Now, notice that my green zone um, is a little bit further down. All right. And the reason why it's down just a little bit further is because I think it needs a good reset. And I might be a little biased here because I sold off some of my position and I would like to buy it a little bit lower. But if we take structure, and again, guys, I want to show you this real quick. This is important. If I take structure of the candles over here, this green box should actually look like this. Okay. It should look like that. But again, kind of pulling it back here because I like to see it dip just a little bit more. But it is fair to say that using the structure, you're actually at the green box. So all of these are at the green zone. Therefore, this is a buy the dip scenario, but I want you to be a little bit more conservative. Okay. Now, let's talk about some names out there, some hot names that you and I, might be interested in, right? So let's go right here. We're going to pull this over just like that, and we will get started here. I'm going to go down the list. Apple, all right? Apple has been a sour apple. It's been absolutely ugly. I know that I watch a lot of traders, including myself, who've tried to basically buy a dip. I tried to buy a dip in this zone. That didn't work. And here we are at the lower zone this morning. Okay. Sometimes this happens. But the cool thing about options, and I do trade equity and futures, but the cool thing about options, you know exactly how much you can lose when you put on a trade. Okay. Now we're at the zone that I identified in Apple. All right. And you could see like there's a little bit of buyers here, but don't forget the four things that I showed you just now were also in a zone. Okay. So we have, again, a little bit of confluence here. All right. So could there be a pop here in Apple? Yes, definitely. All right. Where could it go? Looking at a 4 hour, it could move back up towards the cloud and at or around 174 and some change. If it dips below 170.77 today, I don't want you to try and go long until it can reclaim this 171.16, 171.20. Okay. All right. AMD, absolutely on fire as well. But you know what? It was time for it to take a little break today. However, I gave you a buy zone yesterday, and if you were paying attention to it, you would know that you could have already went long this morning and made a little bit of money. We dipped right into the buy zone, and when I say go long this morning, I'm talking about for my equity traders, people trading shares. You could already be making a little bit of money. This is the buy zone. The risk in this zone is pretty damn wide. Why are these risks so wide? Because we've had some really big expansion candles lately, and what this does is it creates wider risk. Write this down for today. This is something that I took away a long, long time ago, and I'd like to share it with you. Let's say that you're aggressive like I am, and you're not afraid to take more than one trade a day. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I want you to think about this. If we have expansion candles and our risk is increasing, try this out if you're going to try your hand at trading during these times. Wider risk, smaller position. Does everybody understand that? Wider risk, smaller position. Okay. What that does, it allows you not to be so micromanaging your position, right? So, what I mean is if you typically take a trade that's $500, whether it be options, whether it be equity, whatever, your risk, right? You're willing to risk $500 a trade. What I want you to do is I want you to cut that in half. All right. Make it $250. If 250 is too much, cut that in half and put $1.25 out there. Okay. But that allows you to let the market soak up these buy zones. Does everybody understand? But if you're trading too big, then you're going to have a hard time. Okay. You're going to have a hard time because the risk is a little wide today and you're going to get stopped out and then you're going to watch price push in the direction you wanted it to and all the that time you basically got stopped out because you were trading too big in a volatile moment. Okay? So AMD, this is going to be your blueprint for today everybody. All right? So this is your blueprint. And it's if this then that. If price breaks below the buy zone, then I'm wrong. If price pushes up towards the gap fill, I'd be careful there. Obviously, I'd trim and pull stops up. And then right here, I wouldn't expect price to push over 211 today. But again, could be totally wrong. Don't care. I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm here to trade and understand my risk. Okay. That is AMD. Let's take a look at Amazon. Down a little bit here, $1.30. What could you expect from Amazon? Same thing. If we come up here, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you these levels. These are really important. 177, let's call it 178 is your resistance today. All right. And I would much rather be a buyer down here at my lower edge. My edges identify supply and demand, guys, so that I don't have to put these little boxes on here. But I do teach you how to find the box. It's not a big deal. All right. So I do teach you how to find these. So if we go right here and just put that on there, that's an ugly green. Sorry about that. I'm going to come in here and let's go right there, just like that. All right. Got a zone. I would much be, I would much rather be a buyer in the zone right here. All right. That ought to scare some people. So if you're short this, then I would, try to hold on for at least 174.90 to 173.36. But again, could get the pop first on the open and then a sell off that looks something like that. All right. And then you kind of, got this thing going on over here like that. Okay. All right, so that's Amazon. Let's go ahead and move down. I'm in a long-term position in BA. Not worried about the fluctuations. I've been wanting to add to it, but my position keeps staying positive. So I haven't had a chance to add. I don't need to go over that. China, it's definitely on my list, guys. I mean, I just wonder and sit here. How long can Baba and Baidu and all these stocks stay down? They could stay down for a very long time. We understand that. But from a high time frame, I want to be looking at the quarterly. So if I come over here and clear this drawing set, all right, this is what it's looking like. I do believe we start to go bid soon. If you notice, we're making higher lows. That's one good sign. All right. And then from a quarterly perspective, this cloud is resistance. Everything I teach is fractal. So you do this on a 5-minute chart as well. But right here would be my target. Okay. Right there into that cloud. So if we don't take out this low or we dip some more and we get very close to this low, I'm taking a shot. All right. I'm going to take a shot for sure. So this low over here is about 58. I'm going to come down. Let's say that we take out or get close to 67 again. Okay. And believe me, tons of people are trying to pick the bottom here. I'm not trying to do that. It's just that the formations are starting to show. All right. And they're starting to show higher lows. The exhaustion to the downside seems to be coming to an end. And I want to take advantage of that. Okay. Again, this could be a push up towards 100. So I really like the idea of this. I'm just not sure it's exactly ready at the moment. All right. Moving on down, let's go to SMCI. We had a trade in that yesterday. I showed you guys very quickly how to make a quick 30 bucks in that, but also that went up $100. We're at 1,039 by 1,041. Okay, really straightforward. This is your blueprint, just like AMD. Okay, the zone is super wide. I don't know what to tell you, man. The options are super expensive. The best way, in my opinion, to trade this is either with equity or with spreads, and even the spreads are going to be super expensive. Okay. I wouldn't mess with this with a butterfly. That's just me. Okay. If I'm going for a target, I'm thinking, I'm thinking out of the box here, and I think a lot of people are thinking like this is what if this guy, what if this guy announces a forward split, you know? Then what's it going to do? And I keep hearing this number 1,600 being thrown around. Now my number is up here towards 1,400, which would be 161.8% extension from the levels that I used. So 14, $1,500. So on any major dip, and a major dip would be right down here at 900, I would try to buy way out of the money again up towards this 1,200 to 1,300. It's worth a shot. You know what I mean? It's worth a shot until it doesn't work anymore. All right. Just be okay with your risk. All right. Anything else that you guys want to see out there, let me know. We only got about 2 minutes. The wife just brought me some coffee. So I need to sip on this for a few. And I'm going to get back into the room over here. Hey, so can you guys hear me over in the room here? Oh, okay, cool. That's weird. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did it the wrong way. Sorry about that. I think I did that totally wrong. I'm so sorry, Mel. Sorry about that, Mel. Darn it. Well, we know Mel's in the background, and we also know that she has some PMZ trades. So we'll be good to go, right? It's all good. Plus, you kind of loaded up yesterday, right, Mel? Kind of loaded up on those. Let me take this thing off of. There we go. Unmute. Sorry about that. My brain wasn't thinking right, so I muted, but I muted you if you were trying to talk. I'm so used to being dual broadcasting. I apologize. It's nothing personal. I love y'all. All right, so we'll get started here just in a second. And as you guys all know, like my Tesla's down again. right? And so I sold some calls. I should be more aggressive with selling the calls, and I should be selling these things in 10 lots. That's what I was thinking about last night. Um, 10 lot would pay me very nicely. So that's for sure. But all right, let's see what we get. First things first. Dollar General might be up for us today. We'll see. It's up only about 46 cents. And I'm gonna watch some of these strong names off the go. All right. Lopez. That's funny. Yeah, I think on these big names, these are a gift until they're not, right? That's what it's going to be all about. Is if we get that solid pullback, like don't forget about it. Don't give up on it. These names, they deserve a pullback. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if we get like CELH guys, I'd be watching some of these major contributors like CELH, Kava, TMDX, which I'm also in. All of these are possibly great trades to buy on the dip here. And here's the thing, man. You got to put your front, you got to put your foot forward, take the damn trade, and stop being scared, right? Um, you can only lose what you're going to risk, and that's what's important to understand. Nvidia back to green, not bad. Let's see, is AMD going to? AMD's down $5, but I mean it's at the 200 level. You can't be mad at it. My brother, those 300 calls my brother bought that I told you guys about. He was up. He bought those for $1, and they were at $5 yesterday. And we went out to dinner last night, and he's like, "I think I should have sold some." So, all right, so we're coming right back to this little buy zone. Um, I'm just curious on what the options look like on SMCI. You know, if I were to go out for a really, yeah, I mean, these are crazy. A 1600 is $1,100. You know what I mean? How about like a 1300 for this week? At some point, this doesn't work. It reminds me of like GameStop and all that type of stuff. Totally different. I get it, but all right, so that cloud is working. I'm going to bring down the futures just really quick for our YouTube viewers so you guys can see. So we have multiple screens here in the simpler room, and our traders can see both the my main screen and the futures. But you can see where it popped up, and everybody went short right here into the cloud, and that's what I'm talking about. So we're not going to go long, okay? We're not going to go long, not yet. And I'm going to watch this area in here and look for signs on SMCI. Be kind of like my focus here. Very big topping wick. Definitely looks like, a top at the moment. You could also think about puts to target down here towards 900. Let's see. Those are probably expensive too. Yeah, they're $1,500. And the spread on those are wild, man. Yeah, the spread's just too wide. Very difficult to trade. Hey, when the market's in trouble, you can always count on DWAC. All right, our DG's looking pretty good. We're in at 843, currently bidding at 1115. How's that McDonald's looking on a day like this, Mel? You can jump on the mic if you want. I just don't think they'll hear you on YouTube. BA is, oh, that's weird. Still up on BA. That's interesting. Nice. Good job, guys. Good job. Let's see, Andrew, you can't hear me? It's kind of a weird question for me to ask, but oh, I know what I'm up on. The QQQ. Yeah. So we're up on our last ad, by the way, guys. I'm actually going to trim one of these because I can't trust. We're right here by the. So we're gonna trim one of our QQQ puts if it'll happen. What is going on here? And it's so hard to get out of. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna trim a little bit of that right here. I am expecting a little bit of a bounce, and we'll keep one on as well. Okay. And those really came back. I was thinking about those yesterday. Let's do let's look at AMD. A little bit cheaper, right? A little bit cheaper. Hey, guess what? BMY is up, Mel. Yes, it is a demand zone. That's right. Yep. Now you might not be able to see on my chart. All right, guys, you might not be able to see an inside and up formation, and so you have to look on different time frames to see, you know, where the formations are. Just because I'm on a time frame doesn't mean that that's where I found the buy zone. Does that make sense? So, all right, starting to get that little bounce, little baby bounce. And let's see here. I want to come over to so AMD is working from the buy zone. Nice. Would you do an overview of ES? Oh man, I did do one, but I'm gonna show you real quick. So the overview on ES, guys, was we're in a demand, but I expected not to go long yet until we can get over the cloud at least. Okay. So this cloud is a great place to get short every time we bounce up. So is this red box. Again, so we went over the long side, but also, folks, if you're listening in, you also just go short. We have several people who are short here underneath the PMZ. So your risk was only 2.5 points today. And if you went short on the 5115 break, so this right here tells you where to go short. Okay. This is your risk. And you guys can see the results here. All right. Your risk today on the NASDAQ, only 11 points. And you can see the results there. And we're coming right into target there. I'd like to see a push into 1844 by 1820. And then if I can get a trendy turn signal down here, I'll look to go long. Okay. And again, AMD, nice little push here. That's what we want to see. And then let's see, DG is running at 151. Let's look at Dollar General. Anybody long on AMD out of the buy zone? Again, just make your stops a little wider, guys, and try, a Delta 30 or Delta 35. You don't have to go deep in the money if you're worried about buying the dip. Like it's okay to be scared. Seriously, it's okay to be scared, but try to like lessen the fear by doing just a tad bit out of the money and opening up that stop and using a little bit less money than what you're used to using. All right, guys. So our target is 155 on here. So we have another $4 in DG. So I really don't want to do anything yet. I know the position looks nice, but I don't want to do anything yet. Okay. Nice, man. Good job. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm talking. I am talking. Let's see. All right. Yep, I am talking. Sorry about that. I'm good. Congratulations, guys, on that. So I answer your question, Luis. The green zones are demand zones, but again, you want to wait, see if we can get over these clouds and over the PMZ. We're getting the bounces where I'm expecting them, but you're definitely not in the clear. So any kind of buy the bounce is a quick in and out, if you will, on the futures, guys. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's see. IWM looks pretty decent today. That's not bad. Uh, again, DG, I would like to see 155 before I sell. DE is up today. It's looking decent. Um, and let's go over here to Tesla. I think I sold some calls. Yeah, right here, the 205. Let's go ahead and sell that. I think, oh, that was give me 1 second. Here we are right here. So this guy, I'm going to sell this. And boom, right there. All right, so I'm gonna cover the short there for almost 50%. We had a little lotto going into this week on Tesla as well. That didn't work out. I closed that. Can you believe BMY is still up? This is crazy. I'm telling you, man, it's a weird market when my BMY is up. John Deere looking decent. AMD still pushing, folks. Nvidia, let's see what we got. I'm glad I did not buy Microsoft yesterday, Mel. Mel, are you on the mic? Can you jump on the mic? Oh, there you are. Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, I can't tell. I wasn't sure, but awesome. There you are. Sorry about that this morning. I was like, gosh, man. Yeah. So let's get over here. Just like this. I want to be looking for a trendy turn signal or a trendy buy signal, and I want to show you guys really quick how I can do that. Quite easily, and I love this. This is my favorite part is right here is when we are like digging in deep. People start getting a little bit fearful. Um, one thing that I love to use, and I highly encourage you to try this out, is come over here to your trading view. A lot of you who have purchased the trendy indicators, you get access to the trading view. Okay. And the trading view, what's really nice about it is when I'm like this NASDAQ, I'm really deep in here, right? So I could do a couple different things. I can come over here, okay, and let's look at the NQ, all right, on trading view. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing on. I expect a bounce in here. Okay. Everybody understand that. So, what I'm doing is I'm going to change this to a 3 minute or a 1 minute. I know it sounds crazy. Let's go to a 1 minute. We're going to put this on auto zoom right here. And what I'm looking for is that I understand in the back of my head. Okay. What I understand is that we're in a zone but we're being super patient. We have a trendy edge down here, and I'm looking for a buy signal. Okay. I'm looking for a buy signal. So we'll see if it pops up here. All right. So again, I'm going to put this right here. And and again, guys, you can use multiple, chart layout, but I'm just showing you how I use the trading view and looking at my zone here. Okay. Notice I got no sort of buy signal. Look at that sell off right at the 1 minute cloud. Jesus. There's my trendy edge. Yeah, that Microsoft, Melissa. Oh, you're not in that, right? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. I'm saying that out loud. And I'm like, if you were in it, I feel, but my point is that it's been hanging around that level forever, but on this dip, is it worth it? There's the trendy edge, guys. We hit right to the tick, right? It's kind of bouncing there off that level. That's an aggressive approach if you just buy the trendy edge, and then over here, your target could be the cloud, right? So I'm just going to sit here and be patient. Now, this is a hard trade because if I get a buy signal, then I'm kind of like, it feels like a counter trend trade because, you said, well, John, you said, we need to get over the cloud. But, one or the other, right? Am I looking for an approach over the cloud? Am I going to take a trade off a buy signal and so forth? Sorry, guys, had to say bye to Ashley. And what is the ES looking like? So the ES has been a little bit stronger here lately, I feel like, down 27 points, but this is expected, right? I mean, typically this is leading to the upside. Let it lead to the downside, right? It's all right. Don't be mad at it. Embrace the red. I'm telling you guys, embrace it. Some of my best days are when the market is red because if we could just be patient, okay? Could just be patient, can really pay off. You can also be short, obviously. And we have some QQQ puts. I also have some, let's see here, kind of have some of that counter stuff going on. So you have DG that's up today, Dollar General, and you have DE, which is kind of weird. And my BA is still positive. Solid sell off in here for sure. I mean, so what happens at this point, guys, on a 15-minute, okay? On a 15-minute, look at the divergence between price and the cloud, okay? What we know is at some point when that divergence gets too wide, we're looking for a nice bounce, okay? The question is, do you have what it takes to be patient? A lot of people that just, start speculating. Okay, well, I think I want to go long here. Well, you could do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Here, let me show you something really quick. Um, let's get over to let's try this out. Let's go right in here. See if I can pull this up for you guys. Okay, we'll just go right here and let's go to MES. And remember, we're in the zone. So all I have to do is come over here. And remember, I was talking about like layering in. So if you want to layer in, you can do that. You just got to understand, where you want to be and, how to trade in the zone. All right. So literally the book by Mark Douglas, How to Trade in the Zone, I always think about supply and demand zones, right? Like how do you want to trade in here? Right? Do you want to scale in? Do you have places where you'll add into the position? And what we like to do is when we're training, right, and coaching, I highly recommend you use micros because you will get your butt handed to you on the minis. I don't care how good you are. If you don't have a plan, it'll suck the life out of you guys. The blood pressure will go up, things will get really, really dicey, and you just will start trading the wrong way. Okay. You'll trade out of I don't know, man. It's like a dark pit in your stomach. You start doing stuff that typically you wouldn't do. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. My plan this morning, Leah, was to buy uh, way out of the money puts on SPX, and I should have did that right on the open. Like I was looking at like 15 deltas, and just to see if we could get a trend down type of day, kind of like a lotto, if you will. Does that make sense? Yeah. That was my plan. I told my brother last night at dinner, we took his, wife out for her birthday, and I said, "Hey, man, for the next 5 days, just buy some deep out of the money, far out of the money puts, right? And just try it every morning," because I was like, "We're in that mode where we should see some sort of sell-off that's a little bit more significant." All right? But that's on the open, Leah. So on the open, not like right now. All right, guys. So what we did so far, all right, and I know this is not like a big deal to you guys out there because everybody wants to see like millions of dollars, right? Is that we started micros in the green zone. All right, starting micros in the green zone. Now, what you want to happen is we get above here and then you can add into the trade. I would not add into this trade unless one, we dip deeper to a level, two, if we get above the cloud today. Does everybody understand that? Everybody good on that? Over there on YouTube, can you guys hear me? All right. It's okay to be wrong. And I love SPX. Whatever I trade is my risk. So when I'm talking about buying out of the money puts, it's based on nothing but speculation. All right. The market's been up since October. I told my I'll tell you just like I told my brother last night. You know, if you're doing good this year, you're having a good time, there will be a cycle that we go sideways to down and most likely they hit you pretty hard. Buy some way out of the money SPXs every morning you wake up. I'm talking the dirt cheap ones and just leave them alone. Come back at the end of the day. Let's see if we can make, a 50-cent option go up to 40 bucks. I've seen it in SPX. You just got to have the timing, right? So, we hear you loud and clear, right? So, so sorry. I keep beating that over the head, but I just want to make sure everybody has it. And my Tesla, I wanted to come over to Tesla to show you guys. I might sell some puts here in a few minutes. It's super dangerous, I think, considering how Tesla's acting. But we'll see. All right, it'll be an intraday trade. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If he's wrong, he's wrong. Yeah. So Steve D. So for example, over in the Ashley account, my wife's account, I bought the 5065s. That's how far out. And it's just one of those things, if we just continue to have a downtrend day, they'll pay, man. But I don't really like you guys know in my account I have 40, $50,000 positions. I'm talking you spend 100 to 200 bucks over there. I don't want it to be something where you're like, oh my God, like I can't believe, I sunk 5 grand into that and it went to zero. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys understand? Sorry. I just want to make sure everybody understands. You'd be shocked though if you can time this right and we get a bigger pullback than you're expecting. Those 50-cent options, you could be selling those for, $2 to $3,000. So, it's not something I want you to, like, manage either, right? It's something that it's there in case we're like, "Holy crap, what happened today?" Right? That's what it's all about. Just taking a shot, man. All right? That's not how we should approach every day, but you know what I'm saying. My Tesla position looks like somebody, like, smacked it pretty bad. It's really not that bad. It's been worse, right? It's down today alone just on the stock is down 1,130 bucks. And overall, let's see. I'll look at it here in a minute. It's not bad. It really isn't. PLTR, keep that on the look, guys. I want to get more at 21 if we get down there. Okay. Not saying it's going to happen, but I would love for it to drop a little bit. PayPal is acting interesting, right? PayPal is acting interesting. It's up. It's green. Okay. Yeah, I'm up on those puts. I'm just gonna leave them alone, Don. You guys do what you want, but because you have PMI, somebody just had PMIs coming out here in a few minutes. Okay. So you definitely what I would expect, PMI bounces right up to the PMZ and comes right back down. That's my thought. If we get over the cloud, then we'll add into the micro. Hey, our DG position's up 55%, guys. Not bad. Not a bad trade at all. And that's a deep in the money. Yeah, the micro is still positive from our entry. Now I might take one on the chin here, but I am going to try and sell oof, a delta. Well, I'm not even sure. This is the 160 put. If we get to 160, I'm screwed. Just kidding. Would I suck that one up quick? We're gonna continue watching this. I'm really not interested in any individual names because this for me, everything is on here. We're in QQQ puts, we're in DG, like those kind of things are working. Obviously, long-term longs are probably not working unless you got like a honey badger. But yeah. I mean, banks are looking great. We're in Goldman Sachs. Nvidia is green again. I still don't have a buy signal here on the Nasdaq. Again, want to see prices over the clouds today, guys. We're on a 15-minute. You could be on a 5-minute if you want, but I'm trying to be patient, and I can't be patient on the 5-minute on these. So PMZ signals right now, if you guys are looking for a trade, Meta, Coin, Marina, Square, Disney, Tesla, Crisp, Google, all of those. Okay, here we go. There's that little push. All right. All right, guys. So you're up several points here on micros. Exactly where I said we'd be looking for the pullback, if you will, right into the PMZ. If that's enough points for you, you can close and re-engage if we get over. For me, I'm just holding. All right. Up about 7 points now. Bitcoin futures up 1,200 points. Still in. Goldman Sachs coming back with a vengeance. Right off. NASDAQ. Nice. Let's look at, we still don't have a buy signal. The reason why we don't have a buy signal, price moved too quick. Okay. We'll see if it comes back in and then gives us a buy. Let's go ahead and close our micros. All right. So I'm out there for about 7 or 8 points. And let's re-engage. Let's see if we can close over the PMZ. Close, not push over. All right. We sold on the push. Awesome, Chris Rose. Love to hear that. All right, guys, we're up 62% on our DG, which is deep in the money. We got the 144 calls for next week. Want to take a poll here. Do we close? What do you guys want to do? Anybody in DG? It's kind of an expensive one. Hold. Do we hold? And just like that, positive on the day. I was down thousands. To open up the morning, I was down thousands. Oh man, it's something beautiful, isn't it, Mel? I always feel like the down days are my best days. If we could just open up down all the time, this would be fun. Yeah, but I mean, I love like down days, not like not when you're in, I don't love days when you're in a name that you love and it's just always down, like Tesla. I just love these big dips and people get scared right into a demand zone. It's my favorite. And nice push there. Oh, yeah, you know what, Mel? I forgot this is a 15-minute candle. I'm like, "Why isn't this closed over the PMZ yet?" Yeah, yeah. Well, I got to, though. I'm going to. I don't trust this. It's still pushing right into the cloud, and yeah, I wanna be patient, so there is some nice divergence, though, on the Nasdaq still, and it's trying to build an inside candle on, the edge here, which is nice, but we'll see if it actually sticks. Yeah, how did AMD do out of the buy zone? I'm gonna move this away just for a few minutes. DG got close enough to my target, guys. If it keeps pushing, that's awesome, but I'm good right there. Goldman Sachs up $3, not bad. DE up 2.5. Coins up 9, Mel. Oof. Mara's even up. Nvidia is up. Where you at, AMD? Where are you? Haha, AMD is almost green. So right when you're getting into resistance here, pretty close, I would imagine. Yeah, we fill the gap from the buy zone. Nice push. And I'm actually, I mean, this market is super strong. But I am going to buy an out the money put on AMD just to kind of fill it out. Going with the 195 put just to see right at the edge. Hey, PS Jake, imagine that, right? Right? Good eyes, my friend. So push right into the cloud, rejection, push up here on the 15 into the quant pivot, close enough to the cloud, rejection. Still, still haven't re-engaged or anything like that. So on the NQ short, nice. There we go. Yep, new low on the Nasdaq. Just watching that cloud. Just watch the cloud. Let's see if we get a what we call a flush low. A flush low will basically it tricks everybody to think we're, things are going to continue to push. We flush everybody out who just put a stop here and see if we get like a liquidity grab and then they try to push up. Um, we'll look for that. So I'm going to change from a 15-minute and now we're going to go to a 5-minute. Okay, so we got the look that we wanted. All right, and there's your 5-minute. Look at that 5-minute sell off. Oof. Sorry. Fuck, right there. There we go. There it is. Also, those puts on the 5065 are up nicely. Anybody jump in those? Almost 100% there. But there's that push, right? Flush lows have a tendency to do exactly this. It felt good, right? We all felt good. We made money up here. We closed, and as soon as you start to feel good on that 15-minute, it couldn't close over the PMZ. It flushed everybody who felt like it was good. So everyone placed their stops underneath, right? So this is a great example of liquidity grabs, right? So, the market gave you a push, it gave you exactly what you wanted to see, and then it just dumps on you. And then it turns around. And a flush low is accompanied by a lower wick that turns into a big hammer. And then basically is letting you know it took everybody's stops and then starts to push. Okay. See what happens. Let's see if we're right. JJ, I do it all. So, I have leaps on. I have day trades. I trade futures. I'm definitely active compared to, I guess, if you were to say compared to like simplers traders, amongst my coworkers. I would say I'm probably maybe Chris Brecher trades as much as I do. I could be wrong. But I trade, right? So I'm not an investor, right? I look at like, a few trades here and there. Feels like more like I'm investing in the idea of trading. I'm more active. Yeah. But I do have leap trades on. Like our DG was a swing trade. Um, Off the top of my head, I think we were in that for about 7 days or so. And we got in at, I don't know, 8 or 7 and just sold at 13, $14. That was a swing trade. I'm at BA 164 days out for the 250 calls. I bought in at 385. They're trading at 440. I got Chewy 136 days out. I got DE 45 days out. I got IBB 45 days out. I got iRobot 318 days out, and I have IWM 318 days out. So that should answer your question there, as far as like swing and leaps. And then I day trade. So I took some weeklies on PayPal that are down right now, 60%. Um, those were Friday expiration. So getting whooped by those. I got Tesla long term and shares. Um, I traded some futures this morning. I took some AMD puts a few minutes ago. Those are up. And I have some Goldman Sachs for this week. Goldman Sachs is a free trade, though. We already made money on it yesterday. So I'm active, man. So, great question because I think everybody should, know that. I have a solid process, and I think what I struggle with, like far as like being I don't if you call me a guru or a moderator, very transparent. The thing that I struggle with is the fact that I trade and I like to show proof of concept, and what that means is I want to prove to people that I trust my levels, and so I trade my levels, man. I can't stand talking. A lot of people talk, they're great at it. They should write a blog or something like that, but I'm a trader, you know. So I do both, talk and execute. Oh yeah, and I sold some naked puts on Tesla. Alaskan Chad. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, yeah, let's go to CrowdStrike real quick. I didn't mean it like that, man. But you're right, it did sound like that, didn't it? Somebody in the room said that. I said, "I managed to say the word investor like it was a four-letter word." That you could be, right on that, and I apologize. I didn't mean that in a bad way. Obviously, I'm in Tesla, I'm in Google, I'm in TMDX investment trades, so sorry if I offended anybody. Let's go to CrowdStrike. I love this. Wasn't this down yesterday as well? So if it was down 2 days in a row, could you guys, what I'm looking for? So let's try. This is this is a zone. It's a wide one. I would much rather see. All right. So we have these levels on here. I'm going to take this off just for a second. First of all, good stocks go down. Typically, good stocks go down 2 to 3 days. Okay. So I want you to look at your higher time frames first. All right. CrowdStrike. Already creating structure here, guys. This is an inside and down. You can find this on my YouTube channel. Okay. This is an inside and down formation. What this is telling me right now, it's not quite a supply zone. Okay. So we're going to label this resistance, just like we did on AMD and so forth. Okay. AMD, by the way, is up 25%, guys. So again, resistance for now. Okay. And then we are going to come down here. My levels identify a playing field of supply and demand based on structure. Okay. 279 to 80 is where I would expect buyers to show up. Okay. Now, the better place for CrowdStrike is going to be the actual structure inside, 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 and up. This is your demand zone. Okay. It's going to look just like this. This is the demand zone, okay, on a weekly basis. And if you look at it, it makes a lot of sense, right? As traders, we want range in the market. And if you look at this, this is a great range. Like if CrowdStrike could drop down here, say it bounces here, falls here, this created range. Now we have range to trade from, right? I could get a nice move out of here all the way back up to here. Right now, we don't have a lot of range. Let's move on. You said from an intraday standpoint, so I'm going to give it to you. Okay. We feel a gap on the body at around 293, 292. Okay. 293, 292, right in this area. I would try, okay. I would try from there, Cyrus, a trade. Does that make sense? Why? Just from this is speculation. Okay. This has nothing to do with my process because most technical traders will try to take a trade off of a gap fill. Am I right? So at least try to get in this area and try a bounce. Okay. So what I would do is come over here and I would do what's called a bracket trade. Okay. Let's just say 25 shares. I'm going to do, I already have these templates that I showed you guys this morning that I've already set up, which are really nice. I'm going to take this template right here and say equity 1 to 2. So I'm going to come down here, and what this is saying is I'm going to risk $1 to make 2. Okay. Now I'm going to change it. I'd rather try to make 3. Okay. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to place, boom, right there. So I have a bracket trade, and I teach how to do this with options as well. Okay. So if you're interested, you guys can always check that out. I'm going to go to the gap fill. It's actually about right here. Okay. Just right above it. And I'm going to place that there. All right. So that's a gap fill approach. And then if we go even smaller time frame, okay, this is an inside and up formation. Boom, it hit right there. Okay. Now, how far am I away from the gap fill? 292. This is at 296. Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone. By the way, guys, our SPX now is up quite a bit. Okay. Let's see if we can get these bad boys in the money. That would be pretty sweet. They're up 127% from my entry back here in the Ashley account, and we're up 44% on AMD puts. And let's do if you have multiple, go ahead and trim at 50% here. I'm going to do a trail stop, okay, of 10. Let's go ahead and put that in. Yeah, it looks pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, that's awesome, J-Law, that Henry was interested in gold a month ago, for sure. Goldman Sachs is actually positive now. Isn't that crazy? Well, let's see if we can get filled here. Now, this is a really tight stop. I mean, for a move for 25 shares. But maybe bring that down just a tad. Disney is green again as well. So just a couple of these names really standing out here. J&J had some kind of approval. I'd be watching J&J for a potential trade. If you guys want to remind me later, I'll definitely go over there and take a look at that. McDonald's is up today. Great play when the market is looking to dip because everybody's running for a Big Mac, it seems. Um, Roku, PayPal was green. Now it's down 20 cents. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, so great question, DP. So, what is the bracket trade that I have on? So, I was just showing that a few minutes ago. This bracket trade is at or around a gap fill on a higher time frame, and it is currently, if we scroll over this, you'll be able to see it. So, I'm looking at trying to get a $3 return. Okay. And I'm trying to go long at 292 and a half, 292.49. And my stop is at 290.19. Okay. Quite frankly, I think I'd rather buy options in here, to because the thing about equity sometimes if I'm not trying to invest, right, in a day trade, you get stopped out, you're out of the trade. Whereas like an option, it gives you the flexibility. It's like buy a little bit out of the money, buy a little bit of time, and look for a push to the upside, right? Everybody, so I mean, we could, in this area, to be quite honest with you, in this area, we could be buying like 300 calls, and there's nothing wrong with trying that trade either. Corey, what are you talking about? 150% on SPX, guys. You think we can get to 10x? Who thinks we can get to 10x? All right, so NQ, notice over here, all right, we broke through the green. You just stay short until we break above the cloud. That's all I can say, you know. Now CrowdStrike, see, you guys talk me in. Like I'm looking here And I meant to go over, I want to look at a daily, right? How many days have we been down? One, two, three. So I'm definitely expecting a bounce soon. Why? Because it's a good name. It deserves a bounce here, 2 to 3 days. Um, Let me look at a potential bounce to 300. Wait, do these guys have earnings this week? They must. They have earnings today. All right, after the bell. Okay, cool. So let's see if we can get that gap fill. So good thing you told me. So I looked over here. I'm like $300 calls or $1,800. Jeez. And let's see. I think CrowdStrike could bounce up to 325, 330 on earnings. If anybody wants debit spread into earnings, that's going to cost you $1.20, probably $1.30. Okay, and your return on that investment is 370 if we can hit that target. And I'm actually going to buy. I'm going to buy one for earnings. Earnings trade. All right, 213% on SPX. This one's hard. If you got multiples, I would be trying to trim. I just got into CrowdStrike for earnings using a debit spread. All right. And just close out my puts over in the Ashley account on SPX. I called those out a little bit earlier with you guys. I know that some of you may or may not be in that, but yeah, I mean, it's a trade, right? If we go over, let's say the market continues, we need to look at a higher time frame for this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the ES futures. I'll let you know if I get filled over here. And just for anyone that's watching on YouTube, um, I don't have to type my alerts. Everything is automated from my API. So real account, not paper trade account. But you can see right here for an example, you can see that, like for example, I just took CrowdStrike, okay, and CrowdStrike was entered. It tells you the exact time, the exact price, quantity, the strikes, and then I just put a little note here: earnings trade. Also, in the room, everyone, you got to take advantage of these question marks. I really would encourage you, instead of asking in the chat room about trades, or if you have a comment about trades, you comment here. So, for example, let's say that I took crowd and I didn't put an earnings trade. You come in here, you hit the question mark, and you just say, "Hey, John, um, is this an earnings trade?" Right? That's all you have to do. And I'm going to get a pop up that lets me know. All right. Right. Just like that. And notice when that comes in, I get an alert that lets me know, hey, somebody just asked you a question. All right. Everybody understand? We good? Everybody understand? Please, utilize it, but also don't over don't overdo it, you know. Oh, let's go over here to Tesla, down almost $9 again. Makes me wanna have the devil inside. All right, lower ME here. Okay, here's my Tesla position for anybody that wants to see it. This is a long-term trade. This is a personal trade. Everybody gets to see it, but It's an ugly chart, man. And 10, get me back to 250 right here at the edge. Take out the low. See what happens there. Nice. Good job, man. Did you take the short underneath the PMZ, Jan? All right. Awesome. Good job. Nothing wrong with that. Not mad at you. Can I teach you how to draw fibs on futures on this day down? I can. I just want to say bye over here at YouTube. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in, watching us this morning. That is my time. If you want to come over for a trial, which I think it's either, I think it's like $5 or $7. It's inexpensive. Come and hang out with us. If not, then that's okay too. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a good day trading.